What if the world's first murder wasn't between nations or tribes, but between species? Beneath a secluded cave in Iraqi Kurdistan's mountains, archaeologists made a discovery that sent shivers down their spines. A 50,000-year-old Neanderthal skeleton, with a wound so precise that it could be the oldest recorded violent death by another human being. Or maybe by someone like us. This is not just another ancient fossil. It's the focus of an ancient cold case that may rewrite early human history. Is Shanidar III the earliest known murder victim in human history? Was he killed by a competitor Neanderthal? Or a Homo sapiens armed with a new type of weapon that altered the course of our species' history forever? Prior to detectives, prior to cities, prior to history itself, there was this single death, lost under 50 millennia of silence. Interesting facts to inspire curiosity. This ancient skeleton has a neat stab wound, not an accident, but an aimed blow to the ribs. The damage is characteristic of the kind of wound caused by projectile weapons, something Neanderthals did not possess, but early Homo sapiens did. The attacker could have been employing one of the first instances of long-range weaponry, providing humans with a lethal technological advantage. Shanidar Cave also contained evidence of burial practices, which indicates that Neanderthals could have been revering their dead and conceiving of death itself in sophisticated manners. High in the mountainous Zagros Mountains of Iraqi Kurdistan is a cave with a dark history. Shanidar Cave, a large triangular cave cut into Braddost Mountain, once gazed out over the greater Zab River. Now it contains the quiet remains of an enigma dating back 50,000 years. Among the ancient ruins of this cave is a Neanderthal skeleton that has become famous as Shanidar III. What makes this find so cold isn't necessarily how old it is, it's the way he died. A severe wound to his rib implies that he did not die of age or starvation, but of violence, and possibly, on our hands, early Homo sapiens. The discovery. In the 1950s, an American archaeologist named Ralph Selecki organized an expedition into Shanidar Cave. His group excavated deeply, 14 meters through sediment layers, and uncovered thousands of years of Neanderthal and human history. Among the fossils and tools of stone, one find was remarkable. In 1957, a trench worker saw bones sticking out of the wall of the trench. The bones were those of a mature Neanderthal male, aged 40 to 50 years old, quite old for his group. He was around 5 foot 6 inches tall, with a robust build and strong upper body, typical of most Neanderthals. The injury that ignited a controversy. Years later, scientists examining Shanidar III's skeleton saw a startling detail, a neat puncture wound on his 9th left rib. The wound had started to heal, so he must have lived with it for weeks or months, but not long enough to heal. The injury wasn't a fall or animal attack. It seemed to be caused by a weapon, sharp, penetrating at an angle, slicing neatly through without fracturing the rib. Scientists wondered, what type of weapon would leave that type of wound? And who used it? But this wasn't another prehistoric burial. Reconstructing the crime scene. To find out, scientists in 2009, directed by Stephen Churchill at Duke University, replicated the ancient crime scene. They created models of stone weapons of the time and used them to test on pig carcasses, proxies for the human form. The findings were instructive. Massive thrusting spears, the ones Neanderthals employed for up-close fighting, inflicted horrific wounds, shattered bones, multiple breaks. Light, distant throwing projectiles produced narrow, clean holes, virtually the same as that on the rib of Shanidar III. The verdict? The wound came closest to a projectile weapon, and not a thrusting spear. Who was the assailant? 3 options arise. 1. Accident. A hunting accident or fall onto a sharp object, but the precision of the wound makes this unlikely. Another Neanderthal. Interpersonal conflict? Possibly. But Neanderthals didn't seem to have used projectile weapons. 3. A modern human. The most compelling hypothesis. At the time Shanidar III passed away, Homo sapiens were migrating into Western Asia, straight into Neanderthal country. While their Neanderthal relatives utilized sharp rocks for hunting, early human beings had long-distance hunting devices such as spears hurled by atlatls, spear throwers, a clash of worlds. By 50,000 years ago, modern humans had quickly spread to areas long inhabited by Neanderthals. In 10,000 years, Neanderthals had virtually disappeared. Was it because of climate change, illness, resource competition? Probably a combination of all, but maybe conflict was involved as well. Shanidar III's wound is one of the only bits of direct evidence of violent interactions between the two human species. It is unsettling to consider and raises hard questions about survival, competition, and what it means to be human. We are familiar with Homo sapiens and Neanderthals having interbred. The majority of people of Eurasian ancestry still possess 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA, but it doesn't necessarily indicate the interaction was always amicable. A glimpse into a lost world. Shanidar III was more than a skeleton. He was a breathing, living being, hunting, getting hurt, making it in a hard world. His killer also was a human being, Neanderthal or Homo sapiens, employing the technology available to them to defend, hunt, or maybe defend territory. This ancient trauma, one slice through bone, may be the earliest record of murder, or war, or desperation. And still, the puzzle isn't solved. Archaeologists at Shanidar Cave still dig, with advanced technology to revisit old bones and reveal new ones, such as Shanidar Z, unearthed in 2018 close to the location of a renowned Neanderthal flower burial. The more we dig into our past, the more we're not just revealing bones. We're revealing narratives of brutality, inventiveness, and survival. And in the case of Shanidar 3, a story 50,000 years old still echoes into the present. Could this wound be the earliest evidence of violence between species? Please like video and subscribe Very News channel. Thank you.